This is day one of this 7-day Zoom Springwater Retreat, June 2020. So there was already some person joining us laughing. This Jacek, I see him. Hello, Jacek. I'm just starting to talk. You're right here. So my memory goes back to this morning when I went to a walk here outside. So we are not in the city, so I can walk out in the landscape. There are first normal roads with houses and so, and cars, a few cars going by. And when you go further, you end in a way which is more for rural traffic, and finally it ends at a small river. And I didn't went there to the river, but turned into a beautiful path with old oaks and the grass and some flowers blossoming on the left and right side. And I thought, what is different to a day when I went there some time ago? And the difference was there was listening. I was on my own listening. And this listening was not that I did something specific. It was the interest to see the leaves with the droplets from the rain of the night shimmering in the sunlight, the clouds passing by, and there was a little strong wind from southwest, shaking and moving everything. It was there, was seen. And the feeling of stepping, the damped sounds, step by step, going, was all there. One movement, not a separation into hearing, seeing, feeling. It was not even a doing of something. It was not doing, simply being there. And that is so different compared to walking with other people and talking. And then the thinking mind is on and we interact. And nowadays it's really a bit tricky. So I meet with a friend mostly on weekends, and we both move by with a mask on and having a distance of 1.5 to 2 meters. So it's okay, but the feeling is different. This listening, this openness, that's the crucial thing in it. That is what meditation is all about. To me, it's not sitting on a cushion, a mat, or a chair, or so it happens when you sit on a chair, sit on a mat. If it happens, but the core, what is most important, is not limited to sitting or standing or walking. It is unlimited. It is this ability of human beings to be present, to be aware, to really listen, to deeply listen. And so if we agree to use the word listening or being aware, I don't want to limit it to the ears or awareness in the brain or something. So use it with me in the widest possible sense of all senses open, the whole body felt as it is. And that was the difference in that walk. And even images came up and on from walks at Springwater or at Kazimierz, where I hold the retreats in Poland, of this simple, open listening. To others, it may easier happen when they sit silently. To me, usually after some rounds of sitting, it is mostly intense when I'm out in the nature. But everybody has to see how that works for himself. So could we look a bit deeper into what is this, what we call complete listening and awareness? Mainly, the question arises, who is listening? Who is aware? Can we put this question here together? Is there somebody who has it, who owns it, who does it? Or is it something which is, when it's really deep, without a doer? So that we can say maybe this whole body-mind is listening. Nobody special is listening. And if there's only listening, then there is nobody, and nobody needed. A really deep and open listening means nobody is doing it. And things in a wondrous way act on their own. So you walk step by step, but not you put your steps. It is you listen to the walking which happens. Can there be a listening where you are wondering about this body, how it moves, without doing the movement? And even the thought process is something which happens on its own. Suddenly pop their thoughts, images, memories. And when they pop up, they bring with it immediately emotions, feelings, happiness or sadness, or very subtle things which you cannot even say what it exactly is. Feeling between discomfort and comfort, ever changing. This what we call I the mover, the steerer, is an ever-moving process that is happening. Is that a theory or is it true? We can only find out when we listen. So my words are only words. They are put out and I send them by electronic to you. Even I'm not doing it, so the electronic does it on its own, and that's good. If I would do anything about it, I would get immediately confused and couldn't speak on. So that happens when the technique breaks down, or you have to fumble to adjust and arrange something. This is really good that it now works. So it's everything, even this thought process is something that happens. So to me, between an ordinary listening in terms of I am listening to music, to you speaking, to whatever, and awareness is that the listener is not there. So can we listen here together to this talk that unfolds, and I don't know how it unfolds, but it does, without anybody who is doing something, just opening up to it, just sharing it as it comes up. Everybody in his own place, with his own surrounding, with his own sounds that are there. Maybe also other people in the room, or one is alone. Just listen together. And then from this electronic device, there's an image and words coming. It's all happening. It's all now. Nothing to be done about. Nothing to change. Just this as it is. There's so many things usually going on that disturb this simple process. Immediately there comes a struggle or an effort. We want to get something out of it. We feel hurt in the back or something and complain. What we see, feel, and hear, and what we think has always additionally interpreted by me, saying it is good, it's not good, I want it, I don't want it, I want to get rid of it. From awareness, from listening, this is nothing different. It's just another level of things that happen now. But we split it up. We say, this is me doing something, and that is what has happened to this me. Two things. We're separate. We feel separate from the world, from what happens, because we are constantly identifying with something which is here in the mind, the thinker, the doer, the awarer, that's not existing. Can one see what is in the way of simple listening? What is in the way of simply becoming aware? That it is the judgment, the additional interpretation of what is going on. And this inner space can very quickly be overwhelmed by the many of things. So if the flow of what comes from the senses is added by thought process, and on top of this thought process there's a judging process, then it's already pretty full. And we feel that this overload. And what does this body do if it is overloaded? It slips into automatism. So that is a wonderful thing that evolution has brought us, and so our possibilities to live and survive and to act are, of course, much broadened by the possibility to do things automatically, not consciously. So the good things, we can drive a car without thinking about it, without taking too much attention to it. You can really observe how this automatism moves. And in so many things. But it also means that you're not aware usually. If you listen to how you drive a car, you have to be careful not to get puzzled and make a mistake and make maybe an accident, produce an accident. So the automatism, that is something which is usually unconscious. It runs and it can run, and it always happens if too much is to do, to perform at the same time. And therefore, sitting still now at home in a hopefully a bit silent place, this is simplifying the world. And what is then still there is a bit less. So we can become aware with our pretty small stream of consciousness of what is going on. We suddenly are able to see a habit. Usually what we discover is when we sit here, is a habit of thought. Some ideas that are usually together with a wanting, with a need or something, a thought which comes up on and again. And sitting here we say, oh, what a torture are these thoughts. They are repetitive, they are meaningless, it's all rubbish. And we have thought that again and again and again. Can we, however, listen to it? Or are we bored from it so much already? Are we judging it? And then the situation becomes even more difficult because it's getting full in the head and we don't see clearly. Can one listen to his own automatic thoughts? Usually it is a challenge. Usually we drift off into it, and then we, at a time, we wake up from it and say, oh, I was completely lost in that thought process. Completely automatic thinking. But the good thing is, when sitting, you and I, we've all seen that suddenly at a time we are back. We are back to, oh, I'm here. I'm sitting here. And this coming back happens on its own. It has not to be produced. If it would be something we had to do, we maybe would never come back from our trips into old memories and imagings. But we come back. So this body-mind always brings us back to the present moment. Often we don't even see that. We're not even recognizing it. It's a very subtle moment of, I'm sitting here, and then with that comes, oh, what I was thinking of all this rubbish, or the complaints about what is going on, and the pain in the back or in the shoulders, and then there comes this idea, oh no, I don't want to be here. It was better to be off and just dreaming. Do we want to dream? Sometimes it's pretty easy to just slip into our dreams. Maybe therefore we do it so often. And we help with all kinds of ways to produce a dreaming situation. If you watch a movie and get lost in it, or read a good book, so it's fun. You're really, for hours you can be completely in a different world. And I'm not saying that is bad or something, but it is the way we slip away from the present moment. And if the present moment does not feel good, we have this feeling, no, we won't touch it. But here are a lot of people coming together who want to touch it, who want to see what actually is, what is here, what is this body-mind, what is going on really. Is there a curiosity in the reality, into what really is going on here and now in this moment? Or do we better flee away into a dream, into a movie? Often one cannot say the one is more comfortable than the other. So we have our horror trips also, where we get lost in thoughts of fearful thoughts, and anger. We imagine people who have hurt us and really stay for hours in a inner situation of angriness. Don't see what is around us. We don't see green leaves with a little drop on. We are in rage, constantly thinking what this person has done to us. Can we become aware of this simply? It is not right and not wrong. This is happening to all of us. And usually we bring it together and say, it's so hard to be in the present moment. And if I'm really there, it's also painful. So what should I do? Is this meditation not really helping me to get out of that, to come into peacefulness, silence? relaxedness? Can we get meditation out of pain, inner pain? So that is what we usually want. We urge to get something out of what we do, of this meditation work also. So that's how we're educated. You have to strive for something, do something to get something. And we want to get out of this world of torture by inner thought, being lost in our processes, in our habitual processes. We want to get rid of that. But can we start freshly, simply forget what we want, but more see that there is wanting. See that we want to get rid of something or want to have something. Can one wonder simply about I want something? What is it? How does it feel? Is it possible to be on a different level with all these emotional things? Because wanting something, that's an emotion, isn't it? It is you feel it really here in the body, that you want something, want to get rid of, achieve something. And you feel the struggle in the body and the tension. And then we complain about all this tension when we sit. Is it possible to be so curious, so interested in all these processes that we simply listen also to that what is not pleasant, without doing anything about it, without judging, without anything, just be with it. Sounds a bit like self-torture sometimes, but it is a simple way. It is there, and therefore it can be seen, can be recognized as what it is. No need to add something to it or put away something from it. No need to do anything, but just see and listen to it. What is there? And maybe now in many of you there are thought processes going on, maybe a bit of feeling of numbness. And then we all are now in a situation which is really challenging for a retreat. We sit at home. Usually we have the support to be at spring water in a lovely place where everything is working for us to look and listen. Now we have to create it at home, and we have only the support, but that is good that we have it, the support of the technology of a video conference. But it is, of course, not so easy. But the listening is the same. So when I'm listening here, there are also cars going by. Not at spring water usually, it's more silent there. But there are also bird songs. And the neighbors have children. That's wonderful. They're laughing and sometimes they're fighting. Then they're crying. So it's always life here. So no need to judge and say it doesn't work when I'm sitting alone. So we can see and go with it, how it is now. No need to complain. And awareness is not limited to any place or situation. It can happen everywhere, in every moment. And finally, true awareness where the me is not there, which is not done by ourselves, that comes to us. It's a gift to us. And what we can do is just find a best setting now at home for it, to have times of silence, not talking, limit the activity with media and everything, and then there's more space. Even if we are sitting at home, there's more space to open up and to listen. Finally, it is not that we create it by the right way of meditation. We can be humble and see, okay, now I am sitting in a small room, in a more or less silent place. Let's see what comes up. And what can we do if still there's a thought process which want to be heard? This is also very often a thing. So we have the feeling thoughts appear again, or a situation comes up again and again, but it is not only repetitive, it looks for a solution. There's something that wants to be solved. So I had a while ago, after this shutdown, and I was a lot at home office, I had the feeling, there's so much effort with it, this home office. Why is that situation not relaxing? You can stay at home, you don't have to drive to the company. So it really took me to understand what is happening. And so I try to listen to it. Not easy when one has to work and always to enter video conferences, but not this silent one we have with everybody bubbling and speaking, some with a French accent, other with an American accent, some Scotchmen with that speaking, and you hardly can understand what they say. So for me, it was coming up this, what is stressful in this home office situation? And then listening to it, the memories came up. What happened? So this feeling, oh, you have forgotten something. You should enter into, let's say, a video conference or a telephone call or whatever, and you didn't do it. You don't have your schedule with you in the same way as in the company. You have to handle your computer at home, and you have to handle by entering it, the computer system of the company. So you everything is more complex and more abstract. And with this seeing that is completely okay, that there is additional stress of the situation, though I was sitting at home, nobody bothering me. My wife Sabine was usually not there, and there was no problem with the house or something. It was all fabulous, but still there was this feeling of effort. So just to simply listen to it and find out, okay, there are several things which provoke that, which cause this feeling of stress. That helps to not to let it unconsciously go on, but to question it. So it's also a way of meditation, meditative inquiry, to really question it. Question, what is it? What is going on? Why I'm feeling stressed when I'm in my home office? And so to put such a question and not to answer it, that is of importance. If we answer it, we are already acting. We are not really seeing. We are not really inquiring. So how can one put, if thoughts are running and something is really important and looks and needs a solution, how can that be looked at? By putting the question, trying to bring the best way to bring this problem into a question, like, what is stressing me there? And then listen, simply get silent with it, not looking for a solution, not wanting to get rid of anything, not wanting to find out what can be done, just wondering what comes up on its own. It is a feeling that the problem solves itself sometimes. Then the memory comes up and you see, okay, that happened. That was stressful. You let it go on, and other feelings come up. And followed by another thoughts. So can one start it all with a question, but then come back to listening, to simple listening? What is going on in the light of a question, the light of a problem which is there? And that means we are not judging and saying, I don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to be tortured by this thought. Give it a moment of listening, of being aware with it. And we don't know if there is a solution even, or if something could be done about it. So for me, in this situation, it was enough to understand that there were reasons for feeling stressed. And then over the weeks, when getting more routine with the home office, it mostly went away. So no solver, it solved out on its own. But it was good to become aware of what was going on. So that is what is meditative inquiry for me, to put a question and become silent with it and see what comes up, what unfolds. So now, here in a very unusual retreat, sitting at home in front of a computer, are we here? Are we listening to this strange situation? Listening in the way I said, with all, everything included? Do we feel it, see, hear, and see the thoughts that come up? Can we be simply with it how it is now? Can we see the complaints that come up, the judgment as judgment? Can we see when we want to do something as there's someone who wants to do something? So to wonder about this doer who wants to do something and stay with the listening, with the awareness. Not always it will be possible, of course, but up and on, something wonderful can happen. And to me, this was already this walk of this morning when I was out and walking a path I have lots of time walked out of a retreat, that it was different and that it was possible, that more listening, more openness was there, and also the joy that comes with it, the joy to see clearly the colors, to see the details of the leaves, swinging grass. This is all only a few millimeters away from you. So wherever you are, whatever you have in your surrounding, it is maybe possible to walk a few steps and to look new at your home, at everything what is there. This newness comes from not wanting something about it, not comparing it, not judging it. Everything and every moment is new again and wondrous if there's simply seeing it, simply listening to it. So up and on, maybe we can enter into this wonder also in a home retreat. On one of the images on the screen, I see the beautiful bench with a pond at spring water, and it came to me, I want to be there. But there is no conflict with it. Not at the moment. For today we end.